opinions and statements expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of WWDB, its staff, or management.
You are listening to In the Know with David O. Informative, substantive, intelligent talk radio on 860 AM WWDB. And now, your host, Philadelphia Councilman David O.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. If you are surprised, yes, it's Valentine's Day. Men, it's not too late. Don't give up hope. Get out there. Make sure you get those reservations and whatever else you need to do to make this a special day. Ladies, I know you already have done what you needed to do. That's just how life is. Thanks for joining me. It's a beautiful Tuesday here, WWDB 860 AM. I have got some wonderful guests for you, starting with Dr. Stephen Tang. Often goes by just Stephen or Steve. He is the president and CEO of the University City Science Center. Kevin Parker and Kerry Scott, they are the co-founders and producers for, I think, the 12th year in a row, Philly Fashion Week. And fashion is making a big comeback here in Philadelphia. And finally, Meg Wise, the executive director of Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground. I hope everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you don't, and I didn't for a long time, you probably will when you have children or grandchildren. And so, it's just an amazing facility. It's a regional asset, and she is going to tell us about what they're doing over there. Let me first thank Weinerman Pain and Wellness, Philly Labor, for sponsoring this show. I really appreciate what they do. They do great work. But for me, as I say every week, I really appreciate the sponsorship of this show because I try to bring you guests that have some really great perspectives, a lot of expertise and experience relevant to you. Well, last week we heard from Stanford Thompson, musician and educator who established Play on Philly. And may I say, he raised $9 million. Is that just extraordinary? Because there's a lot of good folks out there, and I don't know who can raise $9 million. That's a lot of money. A very brilliant young lady, Morgan Berman, CEO of Milk Crate. Steve Tang shaking his head. Yes, they're doing – that was in the sustainability field, and I was just kind of interested because it's a business and I'm an older guy. So, it was eye-opening for me, just like how much the world has changed. And a wonderful actor, Nakia Dilliard, and he answered the question, what's it take to be a screen actor? You may have seen him. He had a steady role on The Wire, House of Cards, and other movies, and he's doing a project right now where he is playing Martin Luther King. So right now, what I'd like to do is introduce you to our first guest. He is the president and CEO of the University City Science Center, but he is also co-chair of Team Pennsylvania, which is a collaborative effort between both government and the private sector to partner for the betterment of our Commonwealth. And he also co-chairs the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship with the U.S. Department of Commerce. He is highly educated, and as most highly educated people are, at least the ones that I know that are successful, he's very modest. He has a PhD, he has an MBA, he has tremendous background both in education and science and management, and so we're very fortunate to have Stephen Tang join us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Now you are leading, a entity in Philadelphia that many people have heard of, but I don't think they truly appreciate how much it impacts them on a day-to-day basis.
That's true, and we're working to make that different, David. I think, as you know, the Science Center has been a hub of innovation and entrepreneurship for the city of Philadelphia and our region for 54 years now. We are the oldest and largest urban research park in the country. Our legacy campus is on Market Street between 34th and 39th Street, where we have right now 15 buildings and 9,000 people that work on our campus every work week. We announced 2 years ago our expansion into the former University City High School site to add 4 million square feet of space. That's mixed-use, office, lab, retail, residential space. And that project is estimated to require about $1 billion worth of investment.
Wow. And so that is really going to be transformative, at least geographically, visually, right there in West Philadelphia. But the thing is that it's a hub of innovation that really affects people in a way that they can appreciate.
Yes, we are first and foremost an economic development organization. So our mission is to create high-paying, high-growth jobs in high-growth companies and high-growth industries. And that includes the high-tech sectors. And over the years, we've calculated our impact as significant to the city and the region. Every year, companies that have spun out of the Science Center create jobs and revenue for our region. There are 12,000 direct jobs that can be attributed to the Science Center. That's actually 1% of all jobs in our region.
Wow. And
those companies that employ those 12,000 people create $13 billion of economic value to our region that increases our tax base every single year. That's 2% of the output of the region coming from those startup companies over our 54-year period of history. So we have had a remarkable run, and it's all due to the links that we have between the great academic institutions and the business community here in Philadelphia.
Well, as a local councilman, let me say thanks for the tax revenues we needed for our schools and for our public spaces and all those. And listen, I'm sure on behalf of everyone in our region, you know, the jobs and then from the people who get their paycheck and for those who create new jobs, they are creating a stream of revenues that support so many other people. But you are, as you were talking about just now, doing this $1 billion investment, and despite all the impact that you've had, this is certainly going to create even more impact.
Yes, we think we're just starting to bring Philadelphia onto the world stage as a leader of innovation and entrepreneurship. And in doing so, I think take our place among the elite cities, certainly here in the United States, when you consider Boston and San Francisco as the major hubs and elsewhere throughout Europe and Asia. So I think we've reached a tipping point where the great work that the startup community has done, what the nurturing we've gotten from big companies, the focus on innovation through companies like Comcast and great institutions like the University of Pennsylvania, Drexel University, Temple University, and others, we can do much more.
Right, and you started down a list, and I have to say one of the things I really appreciate about the Science Center is that you are made up of 31 shareholders, so it's not just a West Philly thing or a university thing. It's not even just a Philadelphia thing. It's a very broad regional thing where there's a lot of input from some of our best universities and innovators into the Science Center, and they have a lot of interest in the success of all the folks that are involved.
That's right, David. Our shareholders, we are a nonprofit shareholder organization, which is very unique. Our shareholders represent the who's who of the academic community, not only in Philadelphia, but throughout the region and across the tri-state region as well. So it's our connection, our collaboration, our engagement with those institutions and the great research and innovation that they have from their students to their faculty that really drives the potential.
How do people, like people who are listening, how do they get involved with the Science Center? Are there opportunities for them?
We do a lot of outreach in the community, David, and two of our efforts are now reaching 5 or 6 years in running. One is Quorum, which is our Entrepreneurs Clubhouse, which is an open access co-working space and meeting space. And we actually announced a couple weeks ago that we are expanding Quorum in our new building, which will be 3675 Market Street, to 3 times the size it is today. So it'll go from roughly 5,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet. In addition, we're going to add to that what is now at 3711 Market Street, the Microsoft Reactor, which is Microsoft's training and demonstration site for all of its technology.
Wow, that's great news.
Right, to create opportunities for people to understand how technology works in their lives and even learn how to code and build video games and start careers in technology-oriented professions. And so that's Quorum. We also have a proof of concept program, which is designed to take ideas out of university labs and put them into the marketplace. And we have a cadre of other incubation and service and programs to help nurture science-based innovation.
A large part of what you do, and I don't know like the total amount of it, but a large part is basically taking technology and commercially viable technology and advancing it into society. Yes,
that's right. That's the commercialization aspects. I think to demystify the process of how good ideas become inventions, it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of luck and serendipity. But fundamentally, you have to make that technology investable. That's the predominant feature. And so what we do is we gather the business community, the advisors, to help budding entrepreneurs bring their ideas to life and make them more investable.
Interesting. I often say in my simple way of thinking, it's important to know how many angels sit on the head of a pin, but, you really can't use it in your kitchen. So you're taking, these theories and ideas, and you're making it something that actually people want and can use.
Yeah, I would say that, just to use your phrase, we would like to see how many angel investors can fit on the head of a pin.
Yeah, fantastic. If people want to learn more about University City Science Center, where do they go?
Well, our website's very robust, sciencecenter.org, no spaces. There you'll see a variety of information about events that we have, publications, including the economic impact study that I mentioned, and actually ways that you can access the Microsoft Reactor and some of our other programs. Coming up later, Meg is from Powelton Village, and so she's a neighbor, and I would have to say one of the things that we are looking to do to make ourselves more accessible is we're going to rebuild 37th Street between Market and Lancaster Avenue, which will then allow the neighborhoods in Mantua and Powelton Village to come into our campus and really experience the benefits of technology. So part of our mission now is to try to create opportunities for those that have lived in Philadelphia for a long time, particularly those in economically disadvantaged communities, and show to them that these high-paying jobs are available to them. Some require education, a little bit more or a little less. But to me, the story that I like to tell is Bill Gates, who, of course, founded Microsoft, learned a program because his mother had access to a computing facility. So if now, here we are in 2017, if more people could access that technology, which is what the Microsoft Reactor is designed to do, how many more Bill Gateses would there be in the world, and how many more could be based here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I love that analogy. I have one myself. I say, Mozart was lucky that someone invented the piano before he was born. But it's the same thing. We have these incredibly capable people. They could come from rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, but we won't know who they are if they never get a chance, to get on the computer, get on the piano, or things like that.
That's right. And we need to make sure that innovation and entrepreneurship is both accessible and inclusive for our community here in Philadelphia.
Well, one of the things that I'm very happy about is actually your leadership, because you bring a tremendous background of academic science, investment management to the leadership of the Science Center, and has really been very robust, since you've been there. I don't want to embarrass you that way. I want to embarrass you another way. So let's get past his credentials and all that.
Please.
And let's ask the critical question. So share with us your Valentine's Day story, and just remember, somebody's listening.
Well, today, Valentine's Day 2017, is the first anniversary when I asked my now fiancée to marry me.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was thinking about getting her a birthday card for her engagement ring.
Yes.
As things would be, here we are, both of us in the latter stages of our lives, and so it was an important question, and she took 3 months to give me an answer.
Wow.
She's
analytical and intelligent like you.
More so than me, and you've hit the nail right on the head, David. And so it was a well-considered proposal and a well-considered acceptance. And so I remember what I felt like a year ago today, and that was just all nerves. So I'm happy to be a little more relaxed day today.
All right. Well, that's a wonderful story, and congratulations on that.
Thank
you. So here we have the romantic side of Dr. Stephen Tang, business leader, scientist, entrepreneur, and whatnot. And you heard it here on In the Know with David O. So that's what you've gotten out of this.
Thank you, David.
Yes. Listen, I want to listen. Everyone is going to share a story today, because why would it be Valentine's Day, So, I'll just ask you this. I mean, as you look towards the future, kind of unfolding with everything that's going on, good and bad, what is your anticipation and your hope for the future of the University City Science Center?
We have a bold vision, which I think is luckily shared with other leaders and institutions around town, and that is to make Philadelphia a hub of innovation and entrepreneurship, but even beyond that, make us a model of inclusive entrepreneurship. And that means essentially that we can no longer be a city of great economic divide. We are, unfortunately, still the largest poor city in America, with a poverty rate endemically around 26%. The neighborhoods around the Science Center are part of a federal promise zone where poverty is closer to 50%. So why can't we use the tools and approaches of innovation and entrepreneurship to transform those communities and have them participate in the fortunes that we're creating? So that's my dream, is to have this vision of inclusive entrepreneurship touch the lives of all Philadelphians and raise everybody's fortunes.
Okay, well, that's a wonderful vision, and one that I think is realistic as it is positive and optimistic. So, Stephen Tang, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your information, your wisdom, and a little bit touch of your romantic side.
It's a pleasure to be here, David. Happy Valentine's Day for all your viewers and all of your guests here.
All right, fantastic. Well, listen, I'm going to ask everyone, stay tuned. We're going to listen to and hear from two very dynamic young men, kind of coming out of the box. They really are one of the instrumental factors as to why fashion is coming back in Philadelphia. And listen, if you saw me, you'd say, there's a guy who doesn't know a thing about fashion. Yes, you are correct. But I appreciate what fashion does for a metropolitan city like Philadelphia. And we need to have it, and it is coming back. So stay tuned right after this commercial break.
You are listening to In the Know with David O. Informative, substantive, intelligent talk radio on 860 AM WWDB.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Philly Labor RX Injured Workers Pharmacy Network, featuring PPC Pharmacy, First Choice Pharmacy, and Precision Scripts, providing injured workers with premium products and services from the point of injury through the entire healing process. The Philly Labor RX Pharmacy Network cares about injured workers.
My friends, this is Joe Kraus. You've heard me on Philadelphia radio now for over 20 years, and I don't often endorse products or people unless they are real game changers. I want to tell you about Weinerman Pain and Wellness, located in Center City, Philadelphia. And at the end of this short personal endorsement, I want you to consider Weinerman Pain and Wellness. If you are recovering from an injury, if you or a family member has been diagnosed with a disorder that has stopped you in your tracks, or if you're like me, determined to learn about wellness while getting yourself prepared to stay healthy so you can enjoy the blessings of your family. Remember the name of this warm and caring location, Weinerman Pain and Wellness. Why should you consider Weinerman Pain and Wellness? Because they are who you expect them to be. Weinerman Pain and Wellness, on the web at WeinermanPainandWellness.com.
Weinerman Pain and Wellness, located at 100 South Broad Street, just south of City Hall. Call Weinerman Pain and Wellness at 215-988-9503. That's 215-988-9503. Call today.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Okay, and we're back. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hey, today is a special day, and we have some doubters out there, but don't be a doubter. Not on a bright, beautiful day like today. Be uplifted, come out there positive, and share your love. We are sharing some time with some amazing people. We just heard from Stephen Tang from the University City Science Center, and we're about to hear from two dynamic young men, Parker and Kerry Scott, co-founders and producers of Philly Fashion Week in its 12th year, and we are standing by with Meg Wise, Executive Director of Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground. She is stressed out, not over the money that she's got to raise, but she has got to answer the question and share a Valentine's Day story, and she's thinking as the steam is coming off of her head. And we're not going to give her any breaks on that, believe me, because that wouldn't be right. Next week, Tuesday, 2 to 3, we have some wonderful guests. Todd Harriman's from, you may remember him, he's an offensive guard with the Philadelphia Eagles, he was, and now he's got Todd Harriman's foundation where he really does a lot for kids who are challenged, youth. He really tries to help them through athletics and sports. Wonderful gentleman. And the very dynamic Brent Porsche. And he is a DJ and music director over at WMMR 93.3, rock and roll. And he's been involved in so many things. Particularly, I like him because he's a judge every year with PHL Live Center Stage. He's a judge in our rock category. And then Patrick Hughes, who has been like a one-man, wrecking crew in a positive way. He's been out there on behalf of Vietnam veterans and other veterans. Particularly, he really pushes the POW-MIA Chair of Honor. And you will see this chair popping up in many places, including Lincoln Financial Field. And coming to City Hall, another POW-MIA Chair of Honor, as he is doing this all across the nation to make sure that we remember those who are missing in action and who are prisoners of war, just to remember the sacrifice that is involved in having a democracy and living free. It is a heavy price to pay. It is a price that we believe is worth it, and we want to keep our values strong. So right now, let me introduce you to Kerry Scott and Kevin Parker. They are two young men. Let me tell you, first of all, we were having a discussion about kind of images and things like that, and if you saw them, you would think you ran into two professional football players. So we're talking fashion, and I always think about, somebody like 5'7", 135 pounds in elegant clothes and coiffed hair and all that. But these guys are big guys, and they're not thin by any stretch of the imagination. They're very muscular, large guys. They shake my hand, and my hand is like small in their hands. So let's be introduced to Kevin and Kerry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. It's exciting to be here.
All right, fantastic. So, I remember thinking to myself, man, what's missing in Philadelphia is fashion. I mean, I look at other cities, and it just seems to be that cool cities, that are innovative cities, they got a lot of fashion going on. What's going on in Philadelphia? But that has changed, and we're expecting a new building here in Philadelphia, fashion outlets, Center City, top-notch shopping, so important. But when you started, it was not easy.
It was not easy at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, what was it like? That was about 12 years ago, right?
Yes. Every major city, just about every major city had a fashion week, and we were like, are we going to sit around and wait for somebody to start it for us, or are we going to, step out on faith and just, use our resources and put it together ourselves? And we decided to just step out and do it, and we got a lot of support. At first, it was really, really hard because a lot of people couldn't grasp the concept of Fashion Week in Philadelphia,
right.
But we believed in ourselves, and we believed in the talent that was surrounded by a lot of talented designers that are here locally, and a lot of retailers and everybody kind of rallied behind us, and we really need to support these guys. And since then, we've been doing amazing things. We had designers traveling internationally to participate. We have some amazing sponsors, and some amazing names in fashion that also support us as well.
Oh, excellent. Can you share some of those names? Because it's all about names, isn't it? Fashion, brand names, things like that?
Yes, it is. Well, Fern Malice is the creator of New York Fashion Week.
Wonderful woman.
And she is our mentor. She's been our mentor for the past 2 years. She's been coming down to our events. She doesn't only mentor us, but she also mentors our designers. Now, what better information and industry information to gather to fashion designers who are trying to have a successful business than a person who actually created New York Fashion Week?
Yes.
So we think that to be very valuable. And not only that, but we also have Mickey Boardman, who's the editorial director for Paper Magazine, coming down this season. And this will be his first season here as well.
Okay. Welcome to the city of brotherly love and to our region, yes.
Exactly. And you also mentioned the Fashion Outlets of Philadelphia. They're actually one of our presenting sponsors this season as well.
Okay.
So they're sponsoring our Fashion Through the Ages panel that we're hosting at Century 21 with Mickey Boardman, Fern Malice, Elizabeth Wellington, and a couple other keynote speakers as well. So we're very, very excited about the industry information that we're opening up to everybody who's interested in fashion, interested in opening businesses in fashion.
Well, let me ask you this, Kerry. For our listeners, when does this all happen for them?
This actually starts on February 21st. So,
okay.
Which we're having at Sugar House Casino. It's our Style Gala, which we're also partnering with the Philadelphia Fashion Incubator on that night to feature some of their past and present designers. Okay. So we're really excited about that. And then it goes on from there we're at 2300 Arena in South Philadelphia for our main shows, which Thursday night is the 23rd, and we're actually excited about that night. We have Majing Wong, who is showcasing. He was just a previous on Project Runway. Also, a lot of other Project Runway designers we're sneaking in and just going to be participating. So a lot of surprises this season. Then we're Friday and Saturday we're at 2300 for Runway 1 and Runway 2, which we have a lot of designers that are great and going to be participating. So from your beginnings, which were humble and struggling, I mean, now Philly Fashion Week is quite a thing, and you have designers, top names coming into Philadelphia to showcase their collections, their designs, and other things.
Absolutely. And, the thing that I'm most proud about with Philadelphia Fashion Week is the opportunities that we provide. We get our designers a lot of press, and not only press, but we also invite buyers and different industry leaders and celebrity stylists that come from L.A. and New York to participate, and they view the designers that we showcase, and a lot of the designers that we feature often get great opportunities from participating in Fashion Week. And we've actually had designers who opt to show with us as opposed to going to New York because it's so expensive to show at New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
And we try to make everything reasonable. We're not trying to break anybody's pockets. We try to make sure that designers can actually have a sustainable business after the shows are done. Right. So if they don't get a lot of sales, at least they can still have their main clients that they can sell to and, different opportunities that they could take away from the show, but they're not breaking the bank by trying to show at New York Fashion Week, where we have a lot of the same opportunities here because we have a lot of the same stylists that are styling different major celebrities that are coming down here. We have a lot of press. We've actually had Mary Claire at our shows. We've had Harper's Bazaar visit our shows. We've had O Magazine at our shows. So it's like tons of people who've visited our shows, and it's been amazing.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this, because I have actually been to one of your shows. I remember, it was really a wonderful evening with, the models walking down the runway and all that. And I got a chance to go behind the scenes because I was presenting a resolution or a citation, and certainly, listen, behind the curtain, boy, it's all sweat and hard work and frantic chaos going on, right?
Yes,
but once they come out, it's very elegant. But what are the different components of Philly Fashion Week? So our listeners can say, listen, I'd like to do it all or some, or because you have a men's fashion, you have a ladies' fashion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are the different things people can go to this year?
We have the fashion through the ages panel. We have our Hawk Runway show, which is featuring designers from Project Runway. We have Runway 1 and Runway 2. We used to have it where one night was ready to wear and one night was couture, but we decided to mix it up because we didn't want to give people, like, some people who want to see ready to wear also want to see couture wear as well. So we kind of wanted to mix it in. So now we call it Runway 1 and Runway 2, so people don't have a choice. They see ready to wear and couture on both nights.
Okay.
So most people often gravitate to wanting to see couture anyhow. So it gives the ready to wear designers a chance to also be seen by everybody. And people really don't have a choice of, what they want to go to. So, it's really exciting.
Okay, and if people want more details, where can they go to find out, like, exactly what's going on, how much it costs, how to reserve your spot, what's available?
They can go to www.phillyfashionweek.org. On Instagram is @Philly_fashion_week, and we also have another Instagram page which is just @PhillyFashionWeek.
Mm-hmm.
You can visit us there and come to our shows and definitely experience some great fashion, some great designers, and great people. And it's also great networking. There's tons of people who work in the film industry, fashion industry, retail, publications, you name it. So it's a great way to network.
Right, and it is I think just wonderful for our city. I'm sitting here with Dr. Stephen Tang, the head of the University City Science Center, which is, contributing like $13 billion to our region and creating all those jobs and everything. And, creative people, whether it's in the sciences, in music, in writing, or in, fashion, that whole stimulating the senses and thinking outside the box. It's so important to have those opportunities. So when you have your events, you're seeing all these different types of folks come in, and I understand a lot of things are pretty much at capacity. Is that right this year?
Yes, just about everything's at capacity.
If you want to get down there to Philly Fashion Week, you better hurry up.
Our style galas, we're at capacity at 700, so we actually don't have any more room for that.
Okay.
And our business of our Fashion Through the Ages panel is at 400, so we're at capacity with that as well. And then the other shows are getting close by to capacity, so it's really exciting. So if you want your tickets, get them now.
Yeah, get them now. Don't delay. Let me ask you this. I mean, how did you get involved in fashion, and what does fashion mean to you? And let me start with Kevin Parker, and then I'll ask Kerry Scott the same question.
How I got started in fashion, many moons ago, I actually used to be a model. So I did a number of runway shows and photo shoots, and, just experiencing a lot of the things that were offered here in Philadelphia at the time. It wasn't too much quality work and, paid jobs and things like that, or tons of networking opportunities that was available.
Now, did you want to be a model? Were you interested in fashion, or you just needed a paycheck?
Actually, I was a dancer at the time. I went to University of Arts, so I was a ballet dancer. So I was really physically fit, and a lot of people told me, you're tall, you have a great body, you should model. So I started modeling, and from there, I gained a passion for actually styling. So I started helping out with like fashion styling and things like that. Then we started our own collection. From there, we started doing our own productions, and then it was just a learning experience, just kind of being in the know of fashion and behind the scenes and just kind of seeing how everything went.
Why was that important to you? What does fashion do for you?
Fashion is just a way to express yourself without somebody even looking at you. I enjoy, for the most part, creating great editorials and making people feel beautiful and just providing opportunities for stylists and designers and artists to help grow their businesses. I feel like our blessings come from helping other people be blessed.
Yes.
So that's what, I get most out of it.
Okay. And Kerry, how about you? How did you get involved in fashion?
Well, actually, just watching my grandmother growing up, she's an entrepreneur, and, she was really big into fashion. Like, the $500 dresses and the $1,000 shoes, she was really big into that. So, that kind of motivated me to, like, okay, this is where it's at, and develop the high taste like she did.
Okay.
So, from there, and then, like, again, Kevin, me and Kevin became best friends, and it was like, okay, he started in modeling, and then we talking, and it was like, look, there's nobody doing Fashion Week. Well, we actually started off as clothing designers.
Okay.
Actually, we were making clothes, and that went over very well. But then it was like, okay, well, nobody has a Fashion Week, so we decided to come together and do that. And again, it was a real hard struggle, but and it just pushed us. I think it was great that the struggle of people not wanting to be a support, it really pushed us into falling in love with fashion even more, and just expressing ourselves and giving an outlet for local designers to express themselves.
They were facing similar kinds of rejection and struggles, and you really kind of felt that and wanted to provide them a place here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Philadelphia we have so many talented people.
Yes, we do.
So many talented people, and then fashion is in everything, in every business, in every way of life. Somehow there's fashion. So
right, and you were sharing before we went on air, like some of those struggles, and you told the story which I thought was so representative of kind of like how sometimes those struggles are really. They're there for reasons that they should not be. But could you tell our listeners, you're telling about a place that accepted you and you're ready to show up, and then what happened?
Well, we contacted this venue. It was actually a really beautiful space, and they've never done a fashion show before, but they were really interested in doing it. So we were emailing back and forth, and they gave us the yes to go ahead to do the fashion show. And we set up a meeting to go do the walkthrough and just kind of finalize all the details. And the building actually had glass windows, so you can walking up, you can actually see the people in the office. So
and they can see you.
And they can see us walking up. So the gentleman stood up, and we saw him shake his head like no.
And what he's seeing is two tall, well-built African-American gentlemen walking up, and that might have been not what he had in mind.
Exactly. So we came to the building, and he was like, well, we're not going to be able to do it because we need to have everything available for future clients. And it was really a sad moment for us. But at the end of the day, I don't take anything bad away from it, because I feel like everything that's happened to us has also given us the strength to just keep going and do better and prove people wrong, because a lot of people judge us, especially starting out. I was 19 years old. People were looking like, okay, who are these young kids trying to do a fashion week? But at the end of the day, if you have passion and you have resilience, you can make anything happen. And if you have a dream, just keep going for it.
All right. I like that, because that leads me into my next question. So tell us about when you applied that philosophy to your Valentine's Day story.
So, unfortunately, I don't have much luck with love. I haven't been in a relationship in over 5 years. But recently I was dating someone, and I found myself we fell in love with each other.
Yes.
And this is the closest thing I've been to a relationship in a really long time. And unfortunately, we broke up about a month ago.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
All the plans I had for my first Valentine's Day in a long time, I've been planning for quite a while. But unfortunately, those plans aren't going to happen, so I'm just going to be working. And tomorrow we actually have a photo shoot in New York, so I'll be pulling clothes for the rest of the day for that. So, that's my Valentine's Day story.
Hey, listen, that's a story we can all relate to. I mean, listen, more swing and a miss than home runs for sure, right? Fantastic guy like yourself. I'm sure there's something special up ahead for you. How about you, Kerry?
Well, I am currently single, but I am the super romantic guy. So I've done.
My wife would like you.
I've done all the good surprises of the, the rose petals and the candles and the candy and the restaurant thing. So
thanks for keeping our economy alive.
All the special things. So I'm really into detail. So
fantastic.
When it comes down to that stuff. So yeah, just
listen, you lucky somebody out there. Kerry Scott, all the bells and whistles. So I'm going to take a second to share mine, just because mine is about how matches are made in heaven. I met my wife when I was doing a trade mission in Korea. She was working at a bar restaurant. I just walked in there, and right away when I saw these two young ladies, I didn't I didn't know them, and I just felt an immediate bond of friendship, like they were my sisters or something. And they were much younger than me, so I had no thoughts of dating. One was married with kids, the other one was single. My first thought was there must be a nice young man I know to introduce to her. And we knew each other for a very short time. I was back in the U.S. I came back to Korea, and then I invited him to come to the U.S. And 7 years went by. I never saw the two of them again. We sometimes, would write and that type of thing. And I was invite her whenever we got back in touch, come to America. And she would always say, come to Korea. And so she did come she finally agreed to come to the U.S. And during that time, my father passed away. And I was very grieved about it. And, at a certain point, I kind of realized that, there was not that much in words. I was really thinking about her visit. I didn't want to tell her my father passed away. I was just thinking about how comforted I would be when she came to see me in Philadelphia. And even though she didn't speak much English and I really couldn't speak Korean, I was really looking forward to that. And when she did come over, we didn't even go on a date or anything. My sister-in-law asked her, and next thing you know, we were engaged. And so who would have guessed, right? So no effort on my part, no dating, no dinner, no anything. And basically 7 years later, we're engaged. We get married, 4 kids now. And so matches are made in heaven. And so if something hasn't come your way, it doesn't mean it's not going to come your way. All right. With that, we're going to go to our commercial break. And when we come back, Meg Wise, Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground, and her Valentine's Day story. All right. We'll be.
You are listening to In the Know with David O. Informative, substantive, intelligent talk radio on 860 AM WWDB.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Philly Labor RX Injured Workers Pharmacy Network, featuring PPC Pharmacy, First Choice Pharmacy, and Precision Scripts, providing injured workers with premium products and services from the point of injury through the entire healing process. The Philly Labor RX Pharmacy Network cares about injured workers.
My friends, this is Joe Kraus. You've heard me on Philadelphia radio now for over 20 years, and I don't often endorse products or people unless they are real game changers. I want to tell you about Weinerman Pain and Wellness, located in Center City, Philadelphia. And at the end of this short personal endorsement, I want you to consider Weinerman Pain and Wellness. If you are recovering from an injury, if you or a family member has been diagnosed with a disorder that has stopped you in your tracks, or if you're like me, determined to learn about wellness while getting yourself prepared to stay healthy so you can enjoy the blessings of your family. Remember the name of this warm and caring location, Weinerman Pain and Wellness. Why should you consider Weinerman Pain and Wellness? Because they are who you expect them to be. Weinerman Pain and Wellness, on the web at WeinermanPainandWellness.com.
Weinerman Pain and Wellness, located at 100 South Broad Street, just south of City Hall. Call Weinerman Pain and Wellness at 215-988-9503. That's 215-988-9503. Call today.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know you're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
you can improve your future.
You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're up. All right. Wow, what a romantic song. Great lyrics, The Intruders from Philadelphia. That's why I love this song. And, it's a perfect day for this theme song, Valentine's Day. I wish you a very special and happy, love-filled evening tonight and for the rest of the year. We are now joined by Meg Wise, Executive Director of Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground. Have you ever been there? It is a beautiful and wonderful facility. And listen, I really appreciate it because I got 4 little kids, 2, 5, 6, and 9. And we have gotten good use out of Smith Memorial. Fantastic location. It's got a mansion. You take your kids inside. It's like a huge playhouse with toys everywhere. And then there's a playground with swings and all kinds of things and a big wooden slide. And it's just, listen, free parking. Great place. So we're joined by the Executive Director, Meg Wise. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining me. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit of the history, because I'm sure they'd like to know, how did this place, first of all, the size, the dimensions, and how did it end up being a place for children and families?
Yeah, it's a really amazing story and a unique kind of location. We're not aware of anything else like it. Certainly not in the region or even the world. So Richard and Sarah Smith were Philadelphians in the 1800s. Richard had made a lot of money in the typesetting industry, which I guess was like a new technology.
Innovation
at the time.
back then, yes.
Entrepreneur.
Yes.
They had a son who died as an adult before they did. So without heirs, they decided to leave their money and instructions to build 2 pretty amazing contributions to Philadelphia. For me, the most important is what is now called Smith Memorial Playground and Playhouse.
Yes.
It was built specifically for kids. It opened to the public in 1899. And as you said, there's a ginormous mansion. It's beautiful. Yes. It's stunning. If you've driven through Fairmount Park, you probably have seen it and thought, what in the world is that? So it's a huge house that was built specifically for kids. That was its only purpose. Our mission has been consistent, for now 118 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's a really long time.
Yes.
Yeah. And as you said, we also sit, in the middle of Fairmount Park, so it's beautiful parkland, and there's a quite amazing playground. It did not look as it does today when the Smiths imagined it in the 1890s.
Yes.
But the idea has been consistent, and it's that kids need safe and green space to play, to run around, to get exercise, to engage with other kids.
Yes.
Like playing for kids is the most fundamental way that they grow up to be happy, healthy, successful adults. A really important foundation for growing up.
And could I say it gives mom and dad a break for a couple of hours?
It does. Yeah. So we have 200,000 visitors every year. They come from every zip code in Philadelphia.
And outside.
And outside,
Yes.
throughout the region
Yes.
and internationally. So, it draws a great many visitors. Admission is free. So very accessible.
That helps as well.
That's an important part.
Give what you want, what you can.
Yeah, we do. There's a box there. If you can toss in a few bucks, that's great. Yes. We also recognize that, families that have the time and just ability to get there, that can be a challenge. So we also have a really robust set of community-based programs where we go out into surrounding communities, try to make kind of mobile play stations. We have a big cargo bike called Play Wheels, and we load it up with toys, and we go out into the community and provide opportunities for kids to play. And another really important part, we really want to talk to adults and make sure that adults understand how important unstructured playtime is for their kids to grow up physically healthy, emotionally happy, So it's really a lot of our work is convincing adults that play is really important. So that's why I'm really glad to have this time.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm
convinced. To your adult
audience. I'm convinced. It's interesting because, I'm Korean in terms of my heritage, and my wife, as I just said, is from Korea. And Korea is a place of a lot of structure. And so my wife naturally, talking to her friends in Korea is like, this is what we need to do for the kids Saturday. And I'm like, the kids like too. It's like there's a lot of structure there. But, and I think it's wonderful, but I also really appreciate unstructured time. A time of imagination, taking a little block and then turning it into a spaceship in your mind and doing all those things that are, just so healthy and really, and so that's what Smith really offers.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. No matter where a family might be in kind of a socioeconomic spectrum, there's incredible pressure on parents to, set their kids up to succeed in life. And for a lot of parents, that means enrolling them in different classes or activities where kids are told what to do.
Right,
and kids today really have very little autonomy and freedom. So we try to recreate at Smith a space where kids decide what to do. So you mentioned this a little bit. We have a loose parts room in the Playhouse, and basically it's cardboard boxes and tape. It's the most low-tech. It is the least science center room.
Right.
But that really, kids who have an opportunity like to make a spaceship out of cardboard boxes at Smith, they are on the path to ending up, working at NASA. It's those opportunities to really let kids look inside themselves and use their imagination and their creative thinking, which we think is really critical for their future success.
Yeah, one of the things I love about Smith is because it is accessible and because it's open to everyone and because it's free basically unless you want to throw in a couple dollars. The variety of people who go there from different parts of the city, different socioeconomic diversity, race, all kinds of things. It's a great place for kids and parents to get together, and you have such a kind of a dynamic of Philadelphia going on, and they all get to play and share. So that's one thing I really appreciate. Let me ask you this. For folks that are listening that are saying, Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground, where can they go to find out information?
Our website is smithplayground.org. There's a lot of information on there, our hours, different programs we have, and special activities that we host for families throughout the year.
Okay.
So, yeah, please go to the website. Please come visit. We're open every day of the year except Monday. The playground actually closes January through March, but we're gearing up for a big reopening celebration. There'll be a big party on March 25th, and then the playground season is open April 1st and then runs throughout the rest of the year.
And as great as Smith is, you have got some plans, some big plans.
They're so big.
Big, huge.
They're so big.
Yes.
We're going to need more minutes. So Smith has been around for over a century. A great deal of capital work was done on the site in the early 2000s. So if any listeners went there as children, the site probably looks dramatically different at this point. But there's still a lot of work that we would like to do to the site. We have a big front lawn, which isn't really connected to our program space, and we want to incorporate that and create a new nature play area for kids and families. And there's also, within the Playhouse, there are about 4,000 square feet that we can't currently use and that no one's ever seen because it's very dilapidated.
I think I've seen it all, but you've got more space. Yes.
There's even more space, right? So, we want to renovate that and then create an urban nature preschool. So it would be a preschool that serves kids ages 3 to 5, full day, full year. And would not interfere with the way that the public uses the building, would provide a really important new service to families, and that leverages our space in the park. So really helps kids have early connections to nature exploration, which again we think is really important for setting up their future success.
So are you fundraising now, or are you going to be fundraising?
We just started. We got a couple of big gifts at the end of 2016. So we're in a kind of a quiet phase. I can't tell you too much, but we have a huge goal. Our goal is over $13 million.
Wow.
And we are now over 20% of the way there.
Okay.
So we're have some momentum, but we definitely have a long way to go. And of course, I'd be very happy to talk to anyone who might have questions about our plans or ways to get involved with that capital campaign as well.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. One is anybody who is interested, that got deep pockets, is interested in supporting this wonderful work, they got to get in touch with you, Meg Wise, Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground. And second of all, for our listeners who want to make some type of contribution, that opportunity is here or coming. Is that right?
Oh, it's always here.
It's always here. Okay. How do they do this?
So again, there's a donate button on our website.
Mm-hmm.
There also our staff emails are on the website too. So if anyone had specific questions for me, I'm always happy to hear from visitors or people who are interested. So there's a donate page on the website.
Okay, wonderful. Now listen, I got a couple minutes left, and so I'm fortunate that I can ask you this question. But why don't you share with us your Valentine's Day story?
I'm ready.
You're ready.
I was
okay.
sweating before,
all
but
right,
I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's really simple. So I've been married 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really long time. And I just want to say that the first thing I heard this morning was Happy Valentine's Day from my husband.
Wise
which
man.
Was awesome.
Yes.
He knew. He knows. So that has keyed me up for the other things that may be happening for the rest of the day.
Okay. Well,
so I'm optimistic.
Yeah, fantastic. So you started off your day right with a Happy Valentine's. Might I say that I have learned my lesson, and I actually did the same thing. So you can teach an old dog new tricks.
As long as your partner knows that it's Valentine's Day, that really is the most important first step.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let me say this, that Smith Memorial Playground is a fantastic location, but you have got a big vision, and so you need those Happy Valentine's Days because you've got to sustain yourself in this ginormous effort, as you would say, but a beautiful vision for the folks in our city, in our region, with the additions and the programming that you're putting at Smith Memorial Playhouse and Playground.
Yeah, it's going to have a huge effect by expanding our interior space by about 25% and our outdoor programmable space by 50%. We expect that the 200,000 visitors is going to grow even more, and we're excited to serve even more families.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, listen, thank you for joining us today, our listeners and myself. And so I'm going to wrap it up with first of all, thank you to Stephen Tang, University City Science Center, Kerry Scott, Kevin Parker, Philly Fashion Week, and just say to everybody, have a wonderful and happy Valentine's Day. I will be out myself tonight, and so be safe and have a wonderful holiday. Take care.
You've been listening to In the Know with David O on 860 AM WWDB. Tune in again next Tuesday at 2 p.m. for more informative, substantive, intelligent talk radio with Philadelphia Councilman David O.